Hey guys, what's happening? It is Thursday, February 4th. I got a pickup video for you here. I'm going to get one right out of the way. I forgot to put this in my post-Christmas video, and I'm super excited to get it because I don't have this specific version. This is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. This is obviously just the version that was on the original Xbox, but they repackaged it for the 360 in physical form because it sold so well. So I believe... if I remember correctly, I believe when this got repackaged for the 360, I believe Microsoft might have even paid for it because there was such a high demand for people who weren't able to get the downloadable version for Xbox Live. Anyway, let's get to it. First up, First National Pawn right now is selling all their video games at 50% off. Everything, regardless of console, regardless of price. So if it's a game that's relatively rare and it still commands $60, $70, it's the $35 game. So first up, I got my favorite version of Tetris, and this is for the Super Nintendo, Tetris Attack. Absolutely love this game. This entire lot, all 8 of these games from First National Pawn came to $34, and there's a couple in here that are pretty exciting. Then my favorite version, my favorite Final Fantasy game from when I was a kid, Mystic Quest. I absolutely love this one, but it's going to take me a while to get back into it because I completely forgot about it until I stumbled across a YouTube video. I always just called it Mystic Quest, so it never dawned on me that it was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, even though it was a Square game. It was like, oh yeah, that Mystic Quest, I remember that, and then I realized, you know what, that's a Final Fantasy game. Okay, so we'll get to it here. Being that I only got a couple for this console, let's get these out of the way. So, for the Xbox 360, I got Wartech Senko Ronde. It's a mech combat, mech fighting game, basically. It's kind of weird. I remember this came out the summer after I had my gastric bypass, and I bought 2 games to pass the time while I was in recovery. And it was Crackdown and Overlord. I'm glad I went with those, but I kind of kicked myself back then for not getting this because I don't see don't see this out there that often. It was only $2, so I'm not, and it's a 360 exclusive, so I wasn't going to pass it up. However, when I got it home and opened it, the manual was in there for the game itself. I'll show you that. See, manual game. But I opened it up, and there are also manuals in there for Lego Marvel Superheroes and Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. So, anybody needs any of those, hit me up in the comments below. I'll be happy to send them out. I'll send them out in an envelope with a couple of pieces of cardboard in between there so they don't get damaged. All right. Then another one. Bumped the mic, so if there's a pop there, I apologize. Then another one. Don't see out there too often, and the price on this one swings wildly. I've seen it go as high as like $30 and as low as like 10, 12. And that is Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage, standard sort of Muso beat-em-up style game from Tecmo. I've played a little bit of it before. I believe I played a demo of it on the 360. I never played the full version of the game by any means. Like I said, pretty standard style beat-em-up. I don't know much about this series. I know it's widely revered in Japan. I have the Fist of the North Star for the Nintendo. I should probably get part 2 of this, Fist of the North Star 2, and maybe do a retrospective of those games with all of them together. Alright, on to the original Xbox. Picked up, don't have this, Evil Dead, Fistful of Boomstick. No manual, I'll have to complete that. The case needs to be cleaned up too. It's got a bunch of stickers on it. I might just put it in a different case and then clean up this. Here is one I literally don't see at all out there. I can't remember the last time I saw it. I do know I ran into it at a rummage sale either this past summer or the summer previous, and the gentleman who was selling it insisted that it was for the Xbox One and would not go any lower. Would not go any lower than $40, and I was just like, sir, this is not for the Xbox One, but I won't argue with you. I couldn't convince him that it was the original Xbox, and when I said, no, this is the first Xbox they ever made, the original one, he said, yeah, the Xbox One. I'm like, no, this is not an Xbox One. We went back and forth for about 2-3 minutes, and I finally said, no, you know what, I won't buy. I'll pass. And I'm glad I did, because this game is fairly uncommon, but not worth $40, and that's Disney's Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. And you might laugh about this, but it's actually built on the Tony Hawk 4 engine. So it's got a pretty robust character creator, and you can play as some characters from, I believe you can play as Woody, characters from The Lion King or Tarzan. I remember that much. I don't remember all the characters that are in here. Obviously, this came out when I was at an age where I was probably past watching those Disney movies, but the actual skating of this game is fairly competent and fairly good. I know the GameCube version is fairly uncommon to rare and fetches a decent price. As it stands, this was marked at $8. I got it for $4 with the discount. I have this for the PS2, did not have it for the Xbox. This is one of my favorite shooters of all time. I am only really big into multiplayer when it comes to Halo 2 and 3 in particular, and played a lot of Gears of War Horde modes, which I guess the Halo Firefight kind of copied. But yeah, I don't really play a ton of the competitive multiplayer anymore. I just don't get into it. I can't stand the yelling and screaming. I'd much rather play co-op with people. So, but this is one of my favorite shooters ever. This is black. I don't have it for my original Xbox collection. Totally glad to get it. My camera's being kind of crappy, so some of this video might be fuzzy. I've got the autofocus turned down as much as I can, but it's still going crazy, so it might need an update. Hadn't given me problems before. Anyway, black, one of my favorite first-person shooters. Really glad that it was a first-person shooter that just focused on a solely single-player campaign. Then, last but not least, this one is an amazing find for half off, and I'm going to cover the title up just for now. It was $12 to begin with, so even at $12, it was a pretty good price at $12. As it stands, getting it for $6, that's a pretty amazing find, because this is Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year Edition, and it is the gold version, the complete version, so it has all the DLC expansion packs on it. There were 2 versions of this released in Platinum Hits form on the Xbox, and I'm trying to track down, I know I have it, here we go. There we go. As you can see, there were 2 versions. There's the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the regular version, and the Platinum Hits version, which is also regular. But the one that is referred to as the Gold Edition, as you can see, I have a non-Platinum Hits. I have a Black Label and a Greatest Hits version now. But as you can see, the difference, the thing that made them gold was that there was an actual gold it's not embossed on there by any means, but there's a gold packaging, or gold on the packaging itself. Although, now that I look at it, on the standard original Black Label version, it appears that this is sort of embossed because it's got a metallic look to it. On the Platinum Hits version, it looks like it's just been copied because there's no shimmer to it. But the other difference is if you want to know if you've got the harder to find version, is on the standard version, that gold ring. See, the gold is not on this outside ring, it's just a regular ring, but it's kind of confusing. There's Morrowind, the standard edition, and that also came out in a Platinum Hits version, if I'm not mistaken, and then there's Elder Scrolls Morrowind Game of the Year Edition and Game of the Year Edition in Platinum. So I have both versions of this. I honestly don't know if I might actually sell this off, because it is complete in-box with manual and all that stuff. Manual, the map didn't feel like it had even been folded out. It even has the Morrowind Prophecies, that's the strategy guide for it. Said the map is in here, the book, everything is complete. Glad to get it, but like I said, haven't decided whether I'm going to sell this off or keep this just because I don't have this version. And as trying to complete the original Xbox run, I will probably stick with that. As for now, I will probably stick with it. I might actually sell it off when Rock 30 has a bonus trade-in day or something like that. Alright, speaking of Rock 30, they had another rewards day. So I took advantage of it, mainly to fill out some more for Slightly Stupid Shooters, which I've been having a blast doing. So anyway, this was Rock 30 rewards. It was buy 2, get 1 free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3. Alright, there's nothing in here amazing except for two games that I really like that are on my personal favorites. The rest of them are pretty much going into Slightly Stupid Shooters. First one is PN03, or product number 3 for the GameCube. It's not in the GameCube case, but it is complete now. I was able to track down a manual for it. This whole lot came to like, with the buy 2 get 1 free, because it was 9 games, it came to like $27, something to that effect. Here's another one of my favorites, Sylphid, The Lost Planet. It's currently in the alternate artwork. This was a later version artwork that came out, and this doesn't have the working designs, amazing metallic treasure working designs, metallic embossed artwork on it. This is the generic one. There was 2 versions of it. That's what I got. Then I got a couple of more Xbox games to cross off my original Xbox list. First up, this one was in an 360 case. I don't really care. I have other regular Xbox cases. But Thief, Deadly Shadows, super excited to get this. I absolutely love this Thief game. I personally, I didn't have a PC that could run the original ones. But this is my favorite one that I've played. I'm thinking, this isn't the same as Thief 3, is it? I can't remember off the top of my head. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is significantly better than the Thief reboot. Significantly. There's no doubt about that. Then another Xbox exclusive crossed off the list. To be honest, I'm probably not going to track... I actually, for sake of preservation, I guess, I will track down an official light gun for this game. But I don't really have a way to use it, as the light guns, I believe, are only compatible on CRTs. But that is The House of the Dead 3. This version is exclusive to the original Xbox, so I'm glad to get that off the list. Alright, and the rest of these are all going into slightly stupid shooters. This one is really, really stupid. This is the exploits of Jet Brody and Fracture. There's an interesting... Game Informer and Kotaku both did an interesting breakdown of what happened at LucasArts right before George Lucas. I'm saying LucasArts and I was drawing a blank there. Right before George Lucas sold to Disney, they had he would come in at the very last. He would come in sporadically during development, basically, and the story goes they had a normal name for him, but he came in and said he didn't like the name, and it didn't evoke a sense of adventure. So this character got named Jet Brody, courtesy of George Lucas. And there's like I said, there's an interesting story on Kotaku, and I believe Game Informer did one too. You'll just have to search it, but it's pretty revealing at his thought process, and it also explains the prequel trilogy, if you will. Here's another one that's really stupid. That is Heavy Fire Shattered Spear. It's a fairly uncommon game, though. It's really weird. I've seen it fluctuate in price. Some places it'll bounce around, but yeah, this is not a good game. Definitely going into slightly stupid shooters. Here's one that is, in and of itself, there's some of these that are going to be actually fairly well-made games that for whatever reason just didn't click, and this is one of them. When I do this one, I'm sure I'm going to get flack for it because people are going to say it's all about the multiplayer, and it's like, well, then they should have made it an amazing multiplayer. Because at the time, if I remember correctly, this actually came out, if I remember, on the Xbox 360, this actually rolled out before Halo 3 did. So this Halo 3, and I believe it was actually out even before Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive this did. The one thing that the 360 version had is that it added 2-player split screen, which the PS3 did not have. There's new characters and additional maps and multiplayer. I will say this, on the PS2, when they ported over Unreal Tournament to the PS2 and the Dreamcast, I had a blast playing that in single player, just the bot mode. I had a blast playing that. Unreal Tournament for the PS2 is one of my favorite games. I had a blast. I remember vividly playing it after football games. We'd play it at my buddy Sean's place. Me and my buddy Jason and Sean. We'd play it in 3-player split screen, and he had the biggest TV of us, so it was a lot of fun to do that. But yeah, I'm glad to get this, but it's going into slightly stupid shooters just because they kind of missed the mark with this Unreal Tournament. I know the online part of it is phenomenal, but what they tried to do with shoehorning in a single player was not so well received. Here's another slightly stupid shooter. If I remember correctly, this game is a what if Russia won the Cold War kind of thing, and I can't remember the guy's name. These guys made Hitman 2. This is Freedom Fighters for the PS2. Kind of a stupid game. I don't have it for the Xbox, so I'll have to track it down for that eventually. They actually looked to see if they had another copy in any of the other stores. But yeah, if I remember correctly, it's got some semi-strategic elements to it. Yeah, you can recruit up to a party of 12 other characters to take into battle with you. If I remember correctly, for the time, the recruits were decent for 2003 standards of companion AI in a video game. And then last but not least, this one's really stupid. It's made by the guys who made Soldier of Fortune Payback, which is one of my favorite stupid games. And I imagine that this one's going to be right along the same lines. And this one's fairly uncommon. This is Secret Service for the Xbox 360. It even says, they must have not had it in too long because the price tag wasn't on there very hard, but it even says on the back, we'll get that to zoom in right there. This computer software is not approved or endorsed or authorized by the United States Secret Service. So that they had to put that disclaimer on there. But yeah, this game is really stupid. I haven't dug into it yet, but if it's going to play just like Soldier of Fortune Payback, so there's not going to be anything inherently wrong with it. There's just not going to be anything inherently amazing. They tagged the Secret Service thing on there. If I remember correctly, this came out in 2007 or 2008. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, this was clearly like sort of a cash grabby type thing again. We'll make it a military game, and yeah, then people will buy it and whatever. And then last but not least, this was not part of the buy two get one free Rock 30 rewards. I just happened to be in the store because I had to do a console swap. One of my backwards compatible PS3 bit the dust on me, so I had to get another one. Actually didn't bite the dust. It would boot up just fine, and I could play video and everything. But as soon as I started playing games, it would overheat and go into overheat protection mode. So did a console swap, and while I was in there, I saw this sitting on the shelf. I had to ask because I know it's a really uncommon game. It's fairly hard to find and fairly valuable. So I grabbed Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii. It wasn't cheap by any means, but I'm glad to get it because it kind of fills out my Wii collection. There's not a ton more that I really want to grab for that, other than a handful of, if I could find, like, I guess I don't have any of the Mario parties, and you might say, why would you even want to get that? The interesting thing is that my niece and nephew really love their Wii, so if I have another game for them to play while they're up visiting, that's fine with me. All right. On to... Oh, I completely missed another stack in here. This is going to be a fairly long video, guys. I apologize. All right, I had some... Oh, it's way back here. I had some, due to an error at Amazon, I had $37 in credit from Amazon, and I decided to go all in. This was down to $11 brand new from Amazon. This is Defiance, the Collector's Edition. As I've been reading on the forums, I know the game is now free to play. You can just buy add-on stuff. But as I was reading in the forums, the digital items that are included with this still work. So I'm going to actually pop this in. This might be a little bit of a slightly stupid shooter just to throw in as like an MMOE type slightly stupid shooter. But yeah, glad to get that. It's a collector's edition. I might do an unboxing of that with my Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, an old unboxing, we'll call it. And this one I'm kind of pissed at Amazon about because it was one of their warehouse deals, so this wasn't a fulfillment by Amazon from a seller. This was an actual Amazon warehouse deal. And it said that this was used in an acceptable condition, complete with manual and artwork, and this is what I got. I got the disc only in a case. This is Alone in the Dark, definitely going into slightly stupid shooters. as this game is pretty fucking dumb. So, and then 2 other pickups from Amazon. Been having a blast playing through these lately. Red Faction, don't really need to say any more than that. This is an amazing game. Red Faction 1 and 2 and Guerrilla are amazing. Armageddon is not in and of itself a horrible game. Everything functions. They just took so much of what made Guerrilla an amazing game and set it on rails. Had they flip-flopped the presentation, because this one, Guerrilla, is more of an open world, and Armageddon, you're kind of underground the entire time. And while the levels are large, they definitely aren't open world, where Red Faction Guerrilla is open world. Had they flip-flopped that around, I think more people would look back fondly at the series. As it stands, I know that Nordic Games owns this property now. Hopefully we get another Red Faction, because I absolutely love this series. Oh, and here's an interesting thing. Red Faction 1 and 2 are FPSs. They're in first person. Red Faction Guerrilla and Armageddon are in third person. And usually when games make that switch, it doesn't go over too well. However, Red Faction nailed it. One of the few series that's been able to pull that off. So that was Amazon pickups due to a shipping error. All right. Then a very, very, very massive haul from the thrift stores recently. Let's see. First up, we'll just go right to it. Another Chance thrift store. You can see they must have a deal. Target must be, I know Target has like a thrift store in each city that they kind of donate to, and another Chance must be that, because as you can see, there's a price tag from Target, and there's the price tag, the orange one right there. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz for the PlayStation Vita. Glad to get that. All right, that was the only one I got from another Chance. The rest of these were all the other thrift stores in town. All right, this was at Goodwill. Let's see, Goodwill. Yep, these two were at these first. Let's see, let's get this right here. There we go. This first handful of games were all at Goodwill. Crash Bandicoot 2. Cortex Strikes Back on the PlayStation. This one is ridiculously stupid fun. I actually played about 15 minutes of it. It is really dumb and fun. That is Burst Trick Wakeboarding from Natsume. Just the amazingly odd stuff that these guys make. I can't get over it. All right. Also, Goodwill pickups. The PlayStation games at Goodwill were $2.99 a piece, which Burst Trick I found I could get on Amazon for $1.49 brand new. So I kind of got taken on that one, but $2.99 for the following stuff is actually a pretty good deal. $2.99 for Crash is a really good deal, and then $4.99 for each of these. Yeah, so $4.99. Monster Hunter Tri. I know it's not complete and it's not with the classic controller and whatever, but the game itself is still relatively, still goes for about 10 to 15 bucks, so even to get this for $5 makes up for that. I don't have this, and I've always been intrigued by it, so I was glad to find it on the shelf out there. For $4.99 I got Red Steel. This one, this is a bit of a history lesson here. This is PlayStation 2 exclusive, Oni. For Halo fans, you'll know that's short for Office of Naval Intelligence. And I have looked all over the internet, and I've never been able to fully tell how this ties into all the Halo story, but there's got to be something to it. You know, if you know, put it in the comments below, because I have no idea. But, as I said, it's a PlayStation 2 game, and there you go. Bungie and Sony have worked together before. Granted, this was a long time ago, as this was 2000, and I remember when this game came out. Before it came out, it was getting hyped because of the amount of movement and range that that the character has. But once you actually got into it, it's not a terrible game. It's just overhyped and missed the mark. Here is one that I was super excited to find at Goodwill because I do have it already. I just did not have it with the DVD, which, as you know, a nerd completionist makes a big deal. Full Metal Alchemist 2, Curse of the Crimson Elixir, and it's got complete in box. So for $4.99, that was pretty amazing. All right. getting to the end here. All right, these were all these last three were all Goodwill pickups. Metro 2033, an amazing, amazing game. If you haven't played it, do yourself a favor. If you have an Xbox One or a PS4, just get the Redux, and it contains Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Get that. Otherwise, this is a fantastic game in and of itself. Here's one going into slightly stupid shooters. Turok. Here's one that I've played through already, and I wish I would have never sold off because I actually had a blast playing it. And it is it's Dark Sector. If any of you guys have played that free-to-play MMO Warframe, the characters are built. The characters in Warframe are very, very similar to how the characters move and operate in Dark Sector. This is a cover-based shooter, and it's got some pretty cool mechanics in it. I remember you couldn't use any gun on the battlefield, so you had to use your armor smartly because they were all bio-encoded to whoever actually held the gun last. And you can go to a black market dealer to get different gun upgrades and stuff like that. But, alright, these were both at Salvation Army. Bionic Commando. Fairly dumb. The arm talks to you. Whatever. This one is going into slightly stupid shooters because I don't know what in the hell Microsoft was thinking when they put out this game and put this name on it. It's got a really weird tag on it. But anyway, it's got a tag over the artwork, but I'm still going to show it to you. It's I don't know what they were thinking, because when they announced that they were doing a Shadowrun game, people were not expecting a multiplayer, fast-paced, first-person shooter. They were expecting Shadowrun from a sequel from the Genesis and Super Nintendo days. So I don't know what they were thinking when they did this, but this is definitely going into slightly stupid shooters because you can play against bots. I'm sure this game is well offline now. This was from St. Joseph's Thrift Store. Super glad to get this. Absolutely love this game, NFL Blitz 2000. I might do a live stream of this because this would be when the Vikings still had Randy Moss, so play some stupid football. I now have the trilogy of these. Kind of hard to find, I guess. Not necessarily rare. It's not like the War for Cybertron or the Fall of Cybertron, but Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, got this at St. Joseph's for $8. She actually said that seems awfully high if that other one is only $2, and this was the one she was referring to. This was $1.99. And this one was $7.99. She's like, that seems awfully high. And I was like, nah, that's $7.99 is fine for that. All right. Then I was at Target, and I've always been leery about playing this, but it was another. It was another 50 or no, it was 60% off of clearance prices on that already. So this was like, what was this? This was like $5 when it was all said and done, 60% off, just over $6 beyond Two Souls. There you can see the price tag. It was $13.56, and it's marked as is because they're trying to get rid of it. But maybe Target, that's one thing I will say about Target is that they stick to prices way too fast and long. They for whatever reason, they have a Devil May Cry 4, not the new one, but they have a Devil May Cry 4 for the 360, and they're still asking $30 for it. And it's like, no one is going to buy this at $30. Yeah, you can see the clearance prices on this went from they were asking $40 for it as of, judging by the tag on the date, as late as October, or sorry, as late as August of this past year. They were still asking $40 for Beyond Two Souls. They dropped the price down in September to $27, then 7 days later to $23, then 7 days later to $13, and people still weren't buying it. And it took another 60% off of those tagged items for somebody to buy it, and that was me, and it was like $5. So for $5, I'm willing to take the risk. If I don't like it, oh well. Then it was over to GameStop. I had $20 in power-up rewards, so I got a PS4 game, Kung Fu Panda. It's sort of a I'm really excited to play this because it's sort of a Smash Brothers take on Kung Fu Panda's take on a Smash Brothers game. So I'm actually kind of excited to play this. I won't lie about that. I absolutely love the first Kung Fu Panda movie, one of my favorite animated movies ever. Thought it got gypped that year. Don't get me wrong, WALL-E is a fantastic movie, but Kung Fu Panda was better that year. I'm sure people are going to be upset about that. All right. Then I got this. This is another Tecmo game. This is their take on the, I guess, their take on the God of War style game, or not God of War, Gears of War style game. Quantum Theory. No big deal. It was a $2.99 game with my power-up rewards. It was like $2.69. Big deal. And then this one was also basically free. That is Gears of War Judgment. This is the worst Gears of War game, and this one is going to Slightly Stupid Shooters because this is a really stupid game. The Microsoft should have never pushed this out. The one positive was I got home and I noticed that when I opened it up, whoever had this did not redeem any of the codes. Unfortunately, I'm not doing a code giveaway on this one. My buddy Kyle, I'm giving the codes to his son Alex. So yeah, the codes won't be given away on this one, so sorry. So pretty massive haul this week. Sorry about the length of the video, kind of a long one, but like I said I was going to try to do it on Tuesdays. I'm going to push that back. I will have a new Slightly Stupid Shooter, maybe a Hey I'm Playing That, and maybe a pickup video, but definitely Slightly Stupid Shooters will be going up every Thursday for sure. So yeah, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys.